Let's talk all things 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 9, Episode 15. You're not a kid anymore, Dorothy. Did they mean to say Darcy? A sweet old auntie. Thank you, subscribers, and my nieces and nephews, and all the y'all who have been here through the long haul. Shall we get into it? Oh, yes, we shall. It's time for auntie advice. Sweet old. It's time for auntie advice. Oh, yeah. It's time for auntie advice. Welcome back, everybody. This is Auntie, and we are here to do our review of 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. Y'all, this was a boring episode, if I must say so. I thought it was very, very boring, but we're going to get into it and we're going to make the best of it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, 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 welcome. So, the first people that I want to talk about is Yara, Jovi, Lauren, Alexi, and crazy people. First of all, let me just say this. These couples are not entertaining together. And I don't know why they have them together. Andre and Elizabeth are just carry alongs. Matter of fact, they're not even carry alongs, they're drag alongs. They enter into a room, and to me, they suck all the energy out of the room. They are like fun vampires. Jovi and Yara are going back and forth because Yara is ugly. Even with the plastic surgery, Yara doesn't look better. Makeup is what makes Yara look good. She's had all this plastic surgery. Jovi made a comment about how she used to look. Now this is their storyline. This story, why don't we expect more as viewers of this show? We should be expecting much more than a storyline from Jovi and Yara about how she used to look. In my opinion, she still looks like the same girl. Yes, she's had plastic surgery. She was planted in. She didn't have the makeup and the money for the makeup and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Yara is just not that good looking. I don't understand why she's flipping out. She said that she has been in counseling for many years. She needs to stay in counseling, and maybe she needs to get another counselor because it doesn't seem to be helping her self-esteem whatsoever. Your self-esteem can be built off of your husband, what your husband says, what he did. Now, I understand being married and you want, your spouse to encourage you and stuff like that, but she know what Jovi meant. This has just been going on for too long. Then we got Elizabeth sitting down with Lauren. They still going back and forth about whether or not Lauren, Alexi was body shaming her. He was. And now that it done got out in the open, and now she's saying, well, this could destroy a relationship. Then you should not have been talking about it, whether it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 1 year ago. You don't talk about intimate discussions that you having with your husband, because at the end of the day, you're going to have somebody like Elizabeth who is going to use it as a weapon against you. So if you don't want your relationship and the things that go on in your relationship to be used as a weapon, then don't you use it against your spouse. It's just as simple as that. Keep your business to yourself. Cry in your pillow at night. Talk to your husband about, hey, I feel like I'm going through a lot of stuff. I got body dysmorphia. I don't even know if he knew she had body dysmorphia because what? I was pregnant. I felt ugly in my body. That happens to a lot of women, right? Nobody likes when their nose is spread all across their face. You got the big old belly and you got the little line in it and all that old kind of stuff. Nobody likes, well, some women do like to be pregnant. But for the, like Kiki, what is the child's name that be singing? Child, she got so many keys. At the end of the day, if she did not want it to be a topic of discussion, she should not have discussed it. And if it gets out, own it. It ain't got out to your husband through these two buffoons, Andre and Elizabeth, and you still carrying it around because, in my opinion, Lauren does not want to take accountability for what she said about her husband. And if we really got down to the nitty gritty of it, I'm sure that she said a whole lot of other things about Alexi. Keep your business to yourself, and then you ain't got to worry about nobody spraying your tea. Moreover, if you felt like that and now you don't, you should have went back to your husband Alexi and said, hey, this is what I said about you a year ago or 2 years ago, but now I'm past that. I apologize for that, because you don't let somebody else spray your tea. So for her to feel like, it's the end of the world, this is the ultimate betrayal that Elizabeth did. And then trust me, I don't like Elizabeth. Don't get it twisted. I don't like her. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't have said anything. And you certainly can't trust somebody like Elizabeth, who is crazy about her husband. Let him spend 75, no, not spend, lose $75,000 and she's still with him. Why would you say something to her? And now all of a sudden, this is something that is going to break up the friendship. Take responsibility for what you said. Instead of getting in front of your husband and backpedaling and pussy popping and just, how long this gonna go on? Is this it? The Yara's in between the middle of it and got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and she doesn't know how to do alternative dispute resolution. She don't know how to fix this. Why do they got her doing it? She don't even like the way she look in the mirror. What is going on? Like, this is just such a waste of our fucking time. This is a waste of our time. Let's talk about Darcy. So Darcy gets around her friends and she starts a whole bunch of BS. In order for her to try to get Georgie to do something, she texts in a group text to make sure her father sees it. While Georgie, in the meantime, is miserable as dog. Okay, he is miserable in his relationship with Darcy. And he hasn't even spread her tea to his parents. But she decides that she is going to try to get her husband to walk a straight line by text messaging things to her father. That's why last week, if y'all noticed, I didn't cover it. Because this is the stupidest stuff. Her and Stacy is miserable in her own relationship. So why does she want Darcy to be happy? Let's just go. Let's just tell the truth. I got a little bit of time before I got to go to bed. The two of them compete in happiness and they compete in misery. Stacy was just on a show with her husband and was crying every time. Wasn't it Stacy crying every time we turned around? She was crying. She's miserable in her own relationship, said that she's in counseling and some more stuff. Like, what are we doing here? These are the most miserable sisters, twins I've ever seen. And then they want to try to pacify us and make us feel some kind of way because they bring out their hurt Darcy's kids. She's always talking about how she's raised these kids and children are in college and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, but your marriage is fucked up because you're not taking care of your son, and his name is Georgie. So they decide that they're going to do Fashion Week. They got invited to do Fashion Week with some other designers. Y'all know they got Tammy Slayton being one of the ambassadors for their brand. Now, no shade to Tammy, but if you got Tammy from 1,000 Pound Sisters being your brand ambassador, what kind of y'all selling? Oh, me no. Lord forgive me. They are just recycling the same mess, and we don't hold we don't want more for ourselves. We don't believe that they deserve to give us more. We're recycling the same people over and over and over again. And then, so I don't look at the show when the show is live. I go back and look at it and review it, right? I have to listen to it, review it, whatever. Half the time, I'm not looking at the screen. It's like white noise in the background. It's the same recycled bullshit. We deserve so much better, especially for people like myself who've been covering this for years. For years. We should expect more and want more from this show. And we don't. We don't. It's the same old bullcrap. Like Darcy has been on there since damn near season 1. And she is an old mama. And they absolutely got problems. They feed off of each other's negativity. So they decide that they're going to go and see their father. And they take these old two raggedy men that both of them are sugar mamas for. Darcy's father stood his 10 toes down to the ground and told her, you know you were sugar mama. You knew what it was. And now all of a sudden you want him to start paying rent? Since when? And now you want to blast him and put his name out there on the street? When the man didn't do that with you, with his family, he trusted you to act like you had some sense, and you went out there and act like the whole entire time. The first time you meet the parents, you're ill dressed, and then you come to the wedding or the ceremony that they have for y'all, your breasts falling all out of your outfit. Everything they wear is ill fitting. And you are old hag with big balloon lips, and you want to be accepted the way that you are. But you can't, because every time we turn around, you and Stacy somewhere having surgery on your face. Fix your life. Fix the inside. How about you do that? How about y'all fix those psychological issues that y'all dealing with? Y'all are dragging these men around like an accessory. I don't think either one of them love their husbands. And you got to run to daddy to get daddy to do something. We see Darcy open up the episode apologizing for saying that he should get a divorce. Now you apologizing when you by yourself? You was hurting, you were this and you were that, and so you throw out the D word, and then you turn around and say, I really don't want one. Of course we know you don't. Because you need to keep that accessory around because you feel like if you lonely some, and then y'all talking about your good years. Your good years was 10 years ago. Your good years was 10 years ago. At least that. The playing in our faces for. We ain't got this to do. You want to emasculate and embarrass the man in front of your friends and your sister because your sister is miserable, but Darcy doesn't have the sense God gave her. I don't know where it is. I don't think I've ever seen it because she was a mess when she was dating Jesse Meester back in the day. Her father told her, get me off the group chats. Stop that bullshit. Grow up. You knew you was a sugar daddy. You're wondering why Georgie doesn't tell you anything. He don't tell you anything because everything he tells you ends up on a group chat or out your sister's mouth. Florian has learned how to sit back and practice the art of shutting the fuck up. He don't say nothing no more. Because he done already had his share of being embarrassed with Stacy somewhere crying all over the place. Like, these people are too old to be acting this way. And then you want to brag about raising your daughters. Really, Dorothy? We ain't even going to get into that. Because I remember when the stuff was going down with Darcy and, oh my God, Tom. Darcy and Thomas. And I tried to warn her about some stuff with somebody else. It was Thomas and it was somebody else. And I reached out to her to try to warn her about what was getting ready to go down with her. And she didn't want to be saved. So I said, don't save her. She don't want to be saved. And I left her alone. And I've never reached out to Darcy since then. Frankly, I don't mess with the cast members. I don't care. Back there when nobody was out here downtown on the YouTube or anywhere else, I was interviewing these people and doing it. Been there, done that. It's old. I ain't impressed. I could care less. I come out here and do my stuff and I'm free. I ain't got to be all kissing up underneath nobody. Yeah. Let me tell a story. And the show has not improved every time. Like I said, I was trying to say before I went off into another rant that I don't look at the show when it comes on. But in order for you to go to the show that you recorded, you got to go by 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After Party, 90 Day Fiance, this 90 Day Fiance, old cast members sit on sofas and play stupid games. You got to go scroll through all these old different spin-off shows before you could get to the show that you actually recorded. And I have tried my best to not even get the other shows recorded and they still come out. It's so many spin-offs to one freaking show. You got to go past 1,500 of them to get down to, okay, which episode was this? It's oversaturated with the bullcrap. And I'm going to tell you right now, the pillow talk, that was us. Me, Wah, who else was out there? Nikki. We was Pillow Talk. I can't remember the 2-guy team that we used to join up. We were Pillow Talk. We were Pillow Talk. We was the ones that when the show would go off, we would come on and we would Pillow Talk this mess. And these two same unstable women, in my opinion, was out here. You got your father on a group chat, and your father got to sit down and tell you, take me off of it. I'm dealing with my own health issues, and this is your man. I told you and I warned you, like I warned Darcy multiple times. I told you and I warned you about this man. You are a sugar mama. It is what it is. Now she's sitting up there, up in her father's face, while he is going through cancer, not to come to the house to help the father. Not to come to help the father, but to come to help herself. Daddy, I want to move it. He said, oh, no, you not. He said, no, you not. I have the app. It don't work. Oh, you talking about the TLC app? I've been stopped paying for that. I ain't. Child, I get it through my Comcast. We were Pillow Talk. We were the ones that did all of this. They did this as a spinoff of us on YouTube. When we was getting 67,000 views of video. They cashed in on what we were doing. Now she gonna sit there because her man, who has not been helping her with the rent, still ain't helping her with the rent. She got to run him down for the rent, and now she gonna sit up in there and live off her father. He said, "No, you not. You ain't coming back up in here, because if you come back up in here, next thing you know, Stacy and her man gonna be Florian gonna be in here, and I ain't gonna have all of y'all up in here worrying me." And I was so glad that the father said, "No, y'all got to, all of y'all got to go. You're not staying here, and take me off the month group chat. I don't need to know what's going on with you and your husband. I could care less." Georgie gets in the car, and the father said that he does think that Georgie got his own agenda about what he doing with his money. And guess what? I don't blame him, because every stitch of money that Darcy and her sister get, they use it on plastic surgery or clothes. He said he is trying to find something out there where his parents live, and that's his right. That's his right. He get to do what he want to do with his money. You ain't been asking him for the money, and then you sit up there and embarrass the man. The man ought to be paid for all the emasculation that she does to the man. Did I say that right? Whatever. Y'all know what I meant. She talks to him like he is nothing, and she does not hesitate to do it in front of anyone. At the airport, at a restaurant, in front of her friends, in front of her like what? And she saw this kind of behavior because they disclosed that her father and her mother was going through the same thing, and she and her sister are determined to be her parents. Well, we should strive to be better than our parents. Oh, raggedy. They just raggedy. That man is miserable in that relationship with her. And I can't wait until he decides to leave. And then you got Stacy in the background. Won't you deal with your alopecia, so you can stop clogging all of that makeup on your face and getting all this surgery when not alopecia. She got vitiligo. And I think Darcy got it too. She just hides hers differently. Deal with that kind of stuff instead of getting all that plastic surgery and looking like blow up dolls off of AdamandEve.com. Okay, so I'm finished with that rant. He's miserable in the relationship. And Stacy said, "Are you in for the long haul?" Why would he be? Why would he be? Darcy and Stacy says, "Don't mess up the best years of our lives." Y'all are has been old women who make your living, in my opinion, off this show. We're the best years. No, I ain't see them when I was at Fashion Week. I wish I would go all the way up to New York to go and see Darcy and her sister. They must have been on some off road. I didn't even hear about it, and I definitely don't know who they was with. And Florian should be looking for an accent and saving every coin he got. She has the audacity to say, "I didn't. I needed to have this conversation with Florian, but he works so late, and when he comes home, he go to bed. He be avoiding her butt like a plague, and I don't blame him. I would avoid her too." And I told y'all, Gino is the daddy of that baby until Matt and Lon Jasmine do what they got to do, because Jasmine sat up there in the lawyer's office and said, "Now I got to go to my mom and them about all the lies." And she tried to backpedal, but it was too late. Line had already came out of her mouth. All these lies I've told. She think that she gonna come over here and sleep with Matt. Now Gino a weak mother, okay, because she should have been gone. I do believe that Jasmine committed marriage fraud. That is my opinion about it. Y'all let me know your opinion downtown in the comment section. But I don't think she ever loved Gino, because we have watched this year after year. All she is Angela. And it's so funny how everybody can jump on Angela Dean, who is worthy of being jumped on, but not look at Jasmine and look at this little box head baby. See, right, man. I ain't mean to talk about the baby, but the baby do got a square head. It just is what it is. The baby got a square head. It definitely ain't Gino's. Yeah, Sugar 48. The baby got a box head. It ain't the cutest baby I've ever seen, but it ain't the ugliest either. It's Jasmine's baby. And if I was mad, I'd be doing a DNA test. I will be doing a DNA test on that baby. You ain't got to say nothing, Sugar 48. I said it for y'all. Y'all was already thinking it. I wouldn't trust a word that came out of that woman's mouth, because Jasmine says that she loved Gino and she cared about Gino. And she came here for Gino. He brought me here like he brought her over on the Mayflower. Y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all, I need to go to bed. You ain't got brought nowhere. You came over here voluntarily. You went down to the embassy in Panama and you came here. Ain't nobody brought you over nowhere. Like you didn't have a choice in the matter. You was desperate to get here. You even left your sons, and allegedly, everybody's saying you got a daughter. That the girl that said that she was your that you say is your sister is really your baby. Now I don't know nothing about that. I ain't studied up on it. I really don't, frankly, give a okay. But ain't nobody brought you nowhere. I can't stand when Gino brought me over here. No, he didn't bring you over here. You signed up for this and went to an interview with your Fashion Over suit on. You was desperate to be here. You left everything you knew and came over here. You brought your ass over here. And now you don't want to leave. So you decide that you're going to have, and it's amazing how she tells the story. You got to punch through every hole that Jasmine leaves open. Everything was going fine. And then my husband decided he picked Matt. He didn't pick no motherfucking Matt. He got talked into it, bamboozled, hoodwinked. And then when Gino tell your butt off, you call his cousin Michelle, but you saw how Michelle was. Jasmine decided that she was going to call Michelle. Matt left. Matt don't care. He don't feed into the book with her. I don't know if he went downstairs to percolate a cup of coffee or what he was doing. I don't know if he had some pumpkin spice cream that he wanted to taste in his coffee, but as soon as that conversation ended, he said, chill out, young, relax, and got the fuck out of dog. He don't care nothing about her. He not attached to Jasmine. He don't love Jasmine. He's just trying to get at Gino. Matt don't love Jasmine, in my opinion, because he doesn't act like a man who's in love. He acts like a man who is being supportive. But when Jasmine tells the story, because it be a story, you got to punch the hole. You got to sit back and lay in the cut for her. Because she's just going to lie just straight off the bat. Matt is just as stupid because of his disdain for Gino. Sometimes when you try to hurt somebody else, you get exactly what you deserve out the situation and the circumstances. Because that's what I see him getting. Now he's stuck with her. At least Gino ain't stuck. She gonna go out on Instagram today and put all this bullshit out there. This is what I'm saying. That's why the tears are so fake. Her tears were so fake. The attorney said there's some napkins over there if you want, if you want to use them. Hopefully the napkins and the tissue will make a tear fall down with them phony tears. Jasmine has not cried no real tears since she been on this motherfucking show, except for when she thought that she wasn't coming to America. The lady said, get some tissue so it could look more believable. We got some tissues over there, over there on the side, just in case you need them. To try to at least make it look like, something is going on. The attorney see right through her. She gonna take her coin and represent her, but she see right through her. But Gino's lazy. Like Matt said, he talk a whole bunch of stuff, but he ain't gonna do nothing. Gino ain't do nothing because Jasmine's still here. I absolutely believe, in my opinion, that she committed marriage fraud. Because when she came over here, she was going to the gym with Matt. And then she got her messed around. He messed around and got her pregnant. And I know he miserable ish. Now it ain't nothing, that ain't to say that Matt don't love the baby. The baby here now. The baby ain't got no, ain't the baby ain't got nothing to do with this, right? But ain't no way in the world you gonna tell me that Matt is happy in this relationship with Jasmine and that he wanted a baby with her. And yeah, I'm keeping it all the way a buck 100 because I'm sick of this. You could tell by the way that he interacts with her. He pities her, and he is one of those type of people that got to save people. He wanted to be on the show. He ain't got nothing else going on. What else he do? So she calls Michelle on the phone. Tito, I just talked to Tito, and Tito said that he's going to deport me. He already called immigration. She said, well, girl, that's my cousin at the end of the day. I mean, do what you got to do. Go get a lawyer. The fuck you calling me for? The cousin flipped on her. I mean, Gino heard, you had a baby by somebody else. I mean, hell, I understand why he mad at you. The cousin flipped right on her. Michelle ended up being Gino's cousin on that conversation. She said, Gino mad and he got a right to be. I understand why he mad. Go get you a lawyer you calling me for. He said that I owe him $75,000. So she goes out on Facebook today and says, I washed your clothes, $600. I cleaned up your dishes. That's what you're supposed to do. That's the duty of a wife or a helpmate. Hello. And now y'all sitting up in here don't understand that if you are married in the United States of America and you have a baby by someone while you are still married, the baby is presumed to be the husband's. Now, Matt said, I didn't take it seriously because I thought that Gino was a clown and a buffoon. And now I realize that hit the fan and he can claim my child. Because Matt ain't got no money. That's why he moved to Florida. And their house always looking like they laying up in the Airbnb. It's not decorated. It's not personal. It's just white walls. The two of them barely making it. He working at a gym. And I'm still side-eyeing his relationship with that friend. But anyway, I'm still side-eyeing Matt. Y'all may not be, but don't think that Auntie Browse don't be up like this when she be looking at him every time he come on. Every time Matt come on, I be side-eyeing Matt. I sure do. And Gino said he about a pint size. He a petite. I be side-eyeing Matt. Why would he go down to Florida and him and his friend going down there? And oops, coincidentally, they lived together for 2 years. Okay. Y'all was living together? Hmm. Things that make you go, hmm. Because you know your auntie is going, hmm. Okay. Yes, Tamika Petite. She got the audacity to say that her mother don't know nothing and she miss her mother and she want her mother hug and she needs her mother because that lawyer told her, well, Jasmine, Gino is presumed to be the father. And she was like, well, what if I say that my baby is fatherless? I wonder how many times she used that, y'all. How would you even know to even offer that and put that on the table? That is the last thing that I would think. Well, what if I say that my baby ain't got no father? Who even thinks like that? Jasmine. Has Jasmine pulled that before? Has she pulled that stunt before? Has she? Because what mama ain't gonna want to have somebody baby daddy name on the baby's birth certificate? So she willing to forego Matt. Listen to what she's saying. She's willing to forego Matt's name on a birth certificate just to stay in America. She got Matt paying for her prenatal stuff, her natal stuff. Matt paying for everything. He put a roof over her head when she said that Gino put her out after they decided to pick Matt. He puts her out. So if Gino picked Matt, he was on a decision panel for the guys they was interviewing to go into. Come on, Jasmine, with that book. The lawyer was sitting there like, well, you do got a problem. But she is willing to stay in America by hook or by crook and willing to leave Matt's name off the birth certificate just to stay here. And did that fly over Matt's head? Matt wants to be the father of this baby. He wants his name on this baby so he can forever throw it in Gino's face. And this is his firstborn child that we know of. And she willing to leave his name off the birth certificate. Think of what kind of woman we talking about. Gino talked all that mess, but he ain't never consulted an attorney. He went to Uncle Mario. I saw Uncle Mario on an interview. I couldn't even finish watching it because he would not sit his ish down. Sit your ish down and do an interview. Lights on, lights off, dark room, white room, black room. What the kind of bull is that? You can't get the month to sit down? Phone on, phone off, and like, what kind of hodgepodge bull? Now y'all know y'all wouldn't even allow me to do no bull like that over here. Y'all be like, look, auntie, I'm getting dizzy, high, drunk. I'm about to have a seizure over. Like, I was like, sit this motherfucker down. I said, Blue, let me get off of this. Gino just like his uncle. They all the same. Talk a whole bunch of stuff and Gino ain't did nothing because Jasmine is still here. When the lawyer was able to find loopholes, Jasmine's lawyer, on why she should be could be deported out of here, but yet and still she lives another day to go and put bull crap out on the internet, and they're gonna try to get ahead of a story because she's a liar. And being here in America means everything to Jasmine. And the very thought of her being deported almost had Jasmine really crying. Then she comes up with a scheme to take the man's name off the birth certificate. But she loved Matt. She cared about Matt. She wants them to be a family together. No, she don't. No, she don't. She's looking out for herself. And she's making this all about Gino not wanting to be with her. Gino didn't want to be with her because she was miserable to be with. Who would want to lay beside someone like that? It's just absolutely the things and the way that we have seen her treat Gino and throw stuff in his face and just treat him like nothing. Treat him like nothing. She did the same exact thing that Angela did with Michael. But we tolerate that mess from Jasmine. It is abuse. To spit in this man's face. And she act like she cares so much about this baby. Where are our babies? I'm sure that when she was in those relationships in order to manipulate, to control a situation, she probably treated them like that till they was disposable. And that's my opinion. May not be actual, may not be factual, but that's my opinion. I think that everybody and anybody is disposable to Jasmine. I am not entertained by her. She sickens me. She thinks that she can manipulate everybody into believing that she is a victim of Gino. But Gino's so stupid. The guys was telling him on the last resort, don't do this. But Gino think he know everything. That's why his head bald. Because he probably sit at night and be stressing out and rubbing the out of it. And then rubbed all the follicles off of his head. Because he just that stupid. She'd have been out of here on the first thing smoking. When she was doing the pageant and treating him like nothing, I would have never did that K1. She wouldn't have got a green card or nothing. And now she says she got to go back to her mother and them about the lies. I mean, I'm not the lies, but no, you said it. Here we sit talking about this raggedy heifer. Man, like I ain't take it serious. But we see her blasting that baby on social media. When the baby, here's a material how Jasmine manipulates stuff in my opinion. She had put the little baby in a competition. Jasmine did. She may have got a couple of comments about the competition. She gets out on social media boo-hoo crying to manipulate people to think that someone attacked her baby so that she could get people to vote for her baby. In my opinion, she seemed like she's one of those mothers that will use anything and anybody she can to get what she wants. I really think she thinks all Americans are stupid. Tamika said, and then when she gets mad at the current man, she throws the last X in their face. She throws Gino in Matt's face, and the way she used to throw Dane in Gino's. Yup. I would tell Jasmine, your stuff is out on the like we would straight up have a Beyonce party to the left, to the left. All of your in a box to the left. You're out. Now, did I like the way that Gino did her? No. But now I see why he did her that way. What other couples was on this god daggone show? Darcy, Gino, and her, the little three couples. Y'all, was it anybody else that I need to be talking about before I go to bed for the night? Hmm. Anybody else out here? Yes, they are, Tamika. Could googity goo goo goo. Thank you, boo. You say you think I covered it? Okay, thank you. This is a mess, but we tolerate this. I know. Let me tell you something. I've had so many people to hit me up and say, Auntie, you free to stop doing this. We don't look at this anymore. So many of y'all that have said, I don't look at it anymore, you good. Auntie, you can start covering other stuff. I had quite a few people to reach out to me today about special forces and saying, Auntie, thank you for covering something else. Yes, I have. People tired of this show. They want clownery and buffoonery, and I ain't giving either one of them. And I'm not going to not say how I feel about the situation. Mm-mm. What you call it, 90-day fiance fatigue. People tired of it. And they don't want to tell the truth. People want to jump around the truth of what we're seeing, what we have allowed to be in our spirit man to even watch this crap. The show that's coming on to came on today. What is it? 90-Day Fiance the other way. The way that that girl in the advertisements, right, in the previews of the show, threw that stuff up in that man's face because he had a stripper at a bachelor's party and she took everything that was on that table and completely put it and doused it on that man. We shouldn't, it should not be acceptable. We should demand better. And then the thing about it is everybody hate Angela. But in every one of these relationships, we see toxicity. The relationships are toxic. Then we got the stupid girl that goes all the way out there to this village to be with this guy and lays up in the bed with him and says the room ain't mine. What the you just got there, you stinking. All right, y'all, let me get up out of here. I will cover that tomorrow. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this episode downtown in the comment section. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Until we meet again, y'all be safe out there in those streets and in water. And thank you again for being here. Bye, y'all.